One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be. From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his step, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report and paves his way. More legend in the making, day by day.
Yes, sir. Let's go ahead and start this morning off right, man, this week. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever the hell you guys are tuning in from. Much love, honor, respect. All right, so we got quite a wild morning. A lot of shit actually did happen over the weekend. I was actually, I was very busy over the weekend, but I still managed to catch a few things live. One of them being when Zelensky came over from Ukraine down to Palm Beach, Florida, down to the Mar-a-Lago with Trump, and they had a nice little meeting together. Now, I didn't end up seeing the whole thing. I ended up getting sidetracked with friends and stuff that I had to do yesterday, but it was all being presented yesterday nonetheless, so we're going to talk about it a little bit today. So the way that I have this lineup, or the title of it, is Trump meets with Netanyahu. That is happening today, as well as New Jersey helicopter crash updates. Yes, that did happen over the weekend. I think that happened beginning of yesterday or something like that. Terrible. And then we have the update on Russia-Ukraine latest, which is obviously Trump sitting down with Zelensky and having that conversation, as well as top stories. So listen, this was the way, obviously I can't cram everything into the title. So this is what's going on here. We're going to talk about the breaking story regarding to the helicopter crash in New Jersey. We're going to talk about from right when it broke, and then as they continue with time, there's more evidence that comes out. So we're going to watch that and figure that out all together. I haven't watched any of it myself. And then we're going to move in after that. We're going to move into Trump and Zelensky hold Mar-a-Lago news conference. And again, I only watched about half of it. But I'm sure there's a lot more to get into there. Investigators travel to deadly New Jersey helicopter crash site, and this was 16 hours ago. So it looks like it happened sometime, maybe even Saturday, maybe early Sunday. I'm not really sure. Witness described seeing pilots together moments before deadly New Jersey helicopter crash, man. Wow. And then we also have today the big announcement about Netanyahu. President Trump meets with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, as we all know. And then we have new details on case against alleged D.C. pipe bomber. Now, the D.C. pipe bomber was the guy that, it was January 5th that he did all this stuff, but they kind of tied it into the whole January 6th thing. I think they're two totally kind of different things here. So, but nonetheless, that's what we've got the lineup for. So make sure, let's go ahead and just do the call to actions real quick, and then we'll get right into all of it. Make sure you guys come in and hit that like button. It helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. You know what else is free is hitting that subscribe button, man. I very much appreciate you guys. Let's get the money part over, though. Please consider becoming a member, starting only at $2.99 a month. Making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody, but check it out. This is what allows us to keep these lights on, as well as be on these airwaves. So thank you guys for becoming members and staying members. Follow my Instagram right here at Ball Valve TV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news, and the campaign trail. Man, make sure you guys go follow that over there. Direct message me. It's a great way to get a hold of me one-on-one. We have a Discord server for all of you legends as well. Make sure you guys join up on that. We have all the links down in the description down below for anybody that's watching on the playback and all that. And last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted memberships, and membership signups are, of course, all going to be presented live and shouted out onto the show. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they'd take from your hard-earned cash, we have these platforms right here that you guys can donate to. And of course, I'll read them out loud, just like a super chat. I've got my email up, so if anything comes through, I'll read it out and shout it out. So, all right, we're going to get right into this craziness of a morning, man. Good to see everyone in the chat, by the way. We've got Mountain Woman. Good to see you, as well as Motobomb Virginia. Yes, sir. Great to see you as well, kind sir. We got Brother Lee Lance as well. Good morning. Good morning. We got Chatting with Stacks coming in with the raid, by the way. Thank you so much for the raid, man. I very much appreciate that. Goes a long way, man. I very much appreciate it. We got Saltwater Life as well. Good morning to you. And Sterling Will. Yes, sir. And he gifted out a membership to start it off, by the way. So I very much appreciate that. Not only helping me, but helping someone else in the Breakfast Club, man. I very much appreciate that as well. We got Hardwire 1%er in the building, as well as Carney Vanguard, my man. Great to see you in the chat. All right, so let's go ahead and get right into this craziness, because there is a lot to go over, even though there's sometimes we break down like 20, well, not 20, but like 12, 13 stories, but those are like small little stories that are happening in 2-3 minute intervals. We have a lot of stuff that we need to review today, such as Trump and Zelensky. I think it's important that we hear all of that, and that alone is 20 minutes by itself. So anyways, let's go ahead and get right into it, and we're going to talk about the whole New Jersey helicopter crash and when it was breaking originally.
As we continue to follow some breaking news, a new live look from this vantage point as two helicopters have crashed in New Jersey. Right now, we know at least one person.
Oh, so two helicopters. So what, did they run into each other and then crash out?
Is dead and one person injured. So this is a new video live.
What's up, Adam? Man, great to see you in the chat as well. Good morning and happy Monday.
From a helicopter that shows the scene of that crash and the debris in this field right here.
Good morning.
We're learning a little bit more information from the FAA saying that an Enstrom F-28A
yeah, it looks like they crashed into each other.
Helicopter and an Enstrom 280C helicopter collided in midair near Hamilton Municipal Airport in New Jersey at around 12:25 p.m. local time today. Only the pilots were on board each aircraft. Right now, the FAA and the NTSB will investigate, and this is a look at some of the wreckage from one of those.
Well, that one got decimated. That thing just went completely up in flames, and there ain't much left. There ain't even hardly a frame there.
Helicopters, they're in the field. The FAA says that it will post a preliminary accident and incident report, usually within the next business day. So investigators right now on the scene as this live look from one of the helicopters involved in this crash happening in midair. We do know that those two helicopters, according to the FAA, collided in midair near Hamilton Municipal Airport. So a look at some of the wreckage there.
Damn, look at this shit, bro. Wow.
At the scene, and we are continuing to follow reaction here. This is from Lieutenant Governor Way saying, I have been updated on a mid-air collision involving two helicopters in Hamilton. The Atlantic County Office of Emergency Management, Hamilton Police Department, and NJSB personnel are on the scene. At this time, there is at least one confirmed fatality.
Yeah, it's crazy that there was only one fatality in this whole thing.
So we are continuing to keep a very close eye on this, as this is a live look at some of the wreckage right here. And we see some of the debris that has been torn off on this field here in Hamilton. So we did want to continue to share that with you as we are gathering more information. We can let you know that at least one
I'm not really sure what that is.
Person has been confirmed killed and another person critically injured after these two helicopters crashed in New Jersey. So
just they're showing pieces that flew off the helicopter in that area.
Continuing to monitor all of this right here as this helicopter is hovering over the scene. And we see that police and first responders have created one of the perimeters around at least one of the wreckages We've also been monitoring, and we did see just a short time ago additional wreckage of what appeared to be a red helicopter. So we did want to share that with you. And you can also see a number of investigators and personnel there outside of the perimeter.
Yes, make sure you guys hit that like button and double tap the screen on the vertical side. I very much appreciate you guys.
They are now working to determine exactly what led to this mid-air collision between two helicopters.
I would imagine a lot of this kind of stuff comes down to human error, you know, unfortunately.
That
but
appears to
look
have
at this
been
red
involved
one
in this mid-air crash. So just to give you a better perspective in terms of where those two aircrafts ended up after they collided mid-air. Right now, the cause of this collision still yet to be determined, and just taking a look at.
But we will find that out. Well, hopefully. I mean, I can't say that convicted, but I'm sure that we will figure out more and more information, which we do already have that information on standby here. Well, not that particular information, but a lot more information on it. We have two other stories that are reporting on that today. So we're going to be talking about that. But first, we're going to go ahead and move over on a chronological timeline here. Yesterday, Trump and Zelensky held a news conference over there in Mar-a-Lago. So let's go and bring that up. This is going to be the longer segment of this morning, and probably one of the most poignant parts, but let's go ahead and get right into this.
An excellent phone call with President Putin that lasted for over 2 hours. We discussed a lot of points.
So he had said that they talked on the phone with Putin over there in Russia, and they were on the phone for 2 hours.
And I do think we're getting a lot closer, maybe very close. The president and I just spoke to the European leaders. They were President Emmanuel Macron of France, President Alexander Stubb of the Republic of Finland, President Karol Nawrocki of the Republic of Poland, Prime Minister Jonas Gahr.
Yes, there is a lot of European leaders there, so we're just going to skip a little bit ahead here because we don't need to hear him thank every single one of them.
We're all great leaders, and we had a great talk with them after we were completed. We thought it was appropriate to speak with them. And our meeting was excellent. We covered, somebody would say 95%. I don't know what percent, but we have made a lot of progress on ending that war, which is really the...
What's up, SNS, and good morning. Great to see you in the chat. Happy Monday.
Certainly the most deadly war since World War II, probably the biggest war since World War II. And I want to thank Steve Witkoff, who's here, and I'd like to thank Jared, who's here someplace. Thank you, Jared. And thank you, Steve. What a great job you've done. Jared Kushner, Steve Witkoff, and Marco Rubio's here. Thank you, Marco.
The president of NATO's there, like a whole bunch of people.
Pete Hegseth is here. Those two people are doing an unbelievable job.
What's up, Warland? Good morning to you. Great to see you.
The four people on this one are doing, I don't think anybody could do it. We'll see if it gets done, but it's very close, certainly. Nobody would even have a chance of getting it to where it is right now. Nobody would have thought that was possible. So I just want to say we've done very well. We've had discussions on just about every subject, and that includes with President Putin before. And we went into great detail, and we likewise went into great detail today. And it was an honor to have you at Mar-a-Lago and have lunch. I hope you enjoyed the food. Your people enjoy the food, I can tell you that. You're big, strong people. Your general over there looks like central casting. I want to also, by the way, speaking of generals, we have a great general, General Raising Kane, who is...
Man, come on, man. Let's just, please get to it.
Thank you so much, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything. Dear colleagues, first of all, I would like to thank President Trump for a great meeting at this amazing place in his home in Mar-a-Lago. And we had a really great discussions on all the topics, and we appreciate the progress that was made by American and Ukrainian teams in these recent weeks. Special thanks to Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, and thank you to for the...
What's up, Tommy? Good morning, and yes, sir, I very much appreciate that. Smash that like button. That's right. Thank you, sir. Great to see you in the chat.
Engagement and full commitment, and also to our team, and first of all to Rustem Umerov and General Gnatov, and to all our teams. And we discussed all the aspects of the peace framework, which includes, and we have great achievements, 20-point peace plan, 90% agreed, and U.S.-Ukraine security guarantees, 100% agreed. U.S.-Europe-Ukraine security guarantees, almost agreed. Military dimension, 100% agreed.
Good morning, Tiffany. You're coming in at perfect timing. We've got Zelensky here doing a conference with Trump over there in Mar-a-Lago. This happened yesterday. So this is like kind of like the most poignant part of the live stream today.
Security plan being finalized, and we also discussed the sequencing of the following actions. And we agree that security guarantees is the key milestone in achieving lasting peace, and our teams will continue working on all aspects. We also had a joint productive call with European leaders, like President Trump said already, and a lot of leaders, including NATO and the EU. And we agreed that our teams will meet in upcoming weeks to finalize all discussed matters, and we agreed.
And also Putin is, well, I mean, Trump is going to put in a thing after all of this, after Netanyahu leaves and all that, they're going to try to schedule a sit down with Putin, believe it or not.
With President Trump, that he will host us, and maybe in Washington.
What's up, Brother Code? Good morning. Great to see you in the chat, bro. And great show this morning.
European leaders and Ukrainian delegation, yes, in January, and Ukraine is ready for peace. And once again, would like to thank President Trump for a warm welcome and substantial discussion. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. President.
Any questions, Liz?
The U.S. Ukraine security guarantees. What number are we at right now?
Well, I think we're, look, you know.
Real quick before he answers that, we've got official Code TV in the building coming in with the $5, man. $5 saying, have a great show. Yes, sir. Thank you for that. Making it rain in the building, bro. That goes a long fucking way. I can't thank you enough for that. Thank you, sir.
95%, but I don't like to say percentages. I just think we're doing very well. We could be very close. There are one or two very thorny issues, very tough issues, but I think we're doing very well. We made a lot of progress today, but really we've made it over the last month. This is not a one-day process deal. This is very complicated stuff, but I think when the president says 95, I think, it could be close to 95%. Yeah, please, and behind you.
So right there, they were talking about the 20-piece plan or whatever, point piece plan, and they're essentially saying that 95% of it is kind of like accepted. That's what they were answering there. Now, real quick, we got Mount High coming in saying, always likes for Mike. Yes, sir. I very much appreciate it. And we got our left-handed tobacco ripping right now. Feels good to be a G. All right, back to this. Sorry about that.
President, have you agreed on the so-called free trade zone on Donbass? How to separate the sites? How to make the separation line? Who will be responsible?
The word agreed is too strong. I would say not agreed, but we're getting closer to an agreement on that, and that's a big issue. Certainly, that's one of the big issues, and I think we're closer than we were probably. It's unresolved, but it's getting a lot closer. That's a very tough issue.
Shit, what's up, Jeremy Ryan? Good to see you in the chat, bro. It's been a minute.
But one that I think will get resolved. Yeah, please.
We are receiving some mixed signals coming from Moscow, even after you spoke with President Putin. Can you assure us that you have received written or any formal response from them?
Well, what was the issue? You have to tell me. What did they say?
They are telling that Ukraine has to give up Donbass. Just a very recent statement coming out.
Well, that's what they've been asking for, and there's a dispute about that. So they're going to have to iron that.
Right here, they're talking about land swaps and giving up land and stuff like that. And yeah,
that's an issue they have to iron out. But I think it's moving in the right direction.
Or delay the solution or peace agreement that you try to achieve.
If something doesn't happen, you mean if something doesn't happen? Yeah, go ahead.
May I ask?
No, go ahead. You're going to finish your question.
Would there be any step that the United States be prepared?
Well, we'll see. Look,
yeah, lady, don't be jumping in mid-question.
We'll see, but I don't want to talk about that because I think we're getting pretty close. Yes, please. Please.
Yes, about territorial question. Mr. President, what is your take on Donbass status? Are you prepared to see it as a free economic order?
See, again, now they're talking about a region that Ukraine would essentially have to give up.
No, we spoke about 20 points plan, and I'm happy that really our teams very close to results. And I agree with President Trump that our teams worked not one day and not one week, more than 1 month, beginning from Geneva, then 2 meetings in Miami, then we had Berlin, and now we have Mar-a-Lago. So this is a very difficult question. You know our position, so it's we have to respect our law and our people. We respect the territory which we control. And of course, our attitude is very clear. That's why President Trump said this is very tough question, and of course we have with Russians different positions on it.
Yeah, I mean, because until it's agreed upon, it's not something that you can just be like, oh yeah, this is what we plan on, this is what we're going to do. I mean, they haven't even sat down at the table correctly yet. So
no, when we speak about referendum, we spoke that it's one of the key. We can have referendum on any kind of points of this plan. I said that we can use referendum like for the plan, or we cannot use referendum. It's one of the key. We can use, this possibility of parliament to vote.
That's right, Gary. That's right. That's facts. I know people right now that are waiting on, to get their taxes, and all of a sudden, you know what they dump that shit into? Like fucking firearms. They do all, but yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there.
Or to have referendum. Doesn't matter. This referendum, if the plan will be very difficult for our society, very difficult, of course, our society has to choose and has to vote because it's their land, the land not of one person, it's the land of our nation for a lot of generations.
They'll probably have to get their plan approved by Parliament or by referendum of the people. You would think that they want, I know they had a poll that it's 91% in favor of ending this war, so they want to end it like everybody wants. Russia wants it ended, everybody.
Well, everybody kind of, but Zelensky kind of. You got to remember that Zelensky put into a law over there in Ukraine that there is to be no elections during wartime. And so it kind of locks him in as a leader. And it's kind of like this double-edged fucked up sword.
Wants it ended, and we want it ended. I want it ended because I don't want to see so many people dying. We're losing, massive numbers of people. The biggest by far since World War II. So we want to see it ended, absolutely.
President, yes. You said at the top that you plan to speak again tomorrow. Is that correct?
I might. It depends on what happens tomorrow. If there's an additional something to add, otherwise there's no reason to. We're in the process. Jared and Steve are working very hard to get something done, and if there's something that comes up, I'd speak, but otherwise I don't think there's any reason to.
In your mind, sir, what are the thorniest issues still unresolved after the...
Well, I think the land you're talking about, some of that land has been taken. Some of that land is maybe up for grabs, but it may be taken over the next period of a number of months, and you're better off making a deal now. Look, let me tell you, they have been very brave. They fought very hard and continue to fight very hard and do tremendous damage.
So he's saying give up on that because you're going to lose too many lives.
But Russia would like to see it end, and Ukraine would like to see it. And I think it's time to end. And a lot of very brave people, a lot of people are dead right now, unfortunately, because I've said, and nobody's disputed it, that if the election weren't rigged and stolen, 2020, you wouldn't have had this war, would have never happened. And it didn't happen for 4 years, never was even thought to happen. And I spoke with President Putin. I got along with him very well, despite the Russia hoax, which was a total hoax. He used to say, what is going on over there? But it was a total hoax, as he knew and as I knew. But I spoke to him, and we'd talk about Ukraine. I've said it before. It was the apple of his eye, but he wasn't going to do anything about it. He didn't do anything about it until I was gone. And then a lot of really bad statements were made by people, by a lot of people, I guess, but by a certain president that we had who was a disaster. Yes.
Do you anticipate going?
Shit.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Real quick, let's go ahead and get the money part over. Well, a little intermission on this because it's a little long part on.
All right, just get the money part done.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
Shit.
Denied.
What's up, Mr. Great to see you in the chat, bro, and happy Monday, man. Good morning.
Ukraine, if you can get to an agreement. And I know
I have no
said
problem
earlier,
with doing it. I have no problem with doing it. We don't anticipate it. Would like to get the deal done and not necessarily have to go. I've offered to go and speak to their parliament. And, if that would help, I don't know if that would help. I think it would probably help, but I don't even know if that's...
You're welcome.
Yeah, no, I know.
Always.
So I'm not sure that it would be really necessary, but if it would help save 25,000 lives a month or whatever it may be, I would certainly be willing to do that. Yeah, please. No, behind you. Where are you from?
See, Prez knows how to handle this situation. She.
from Ukraine.
Good, I had a feeling. Good.
And how about Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant? Have you discussed this question?
On what?
Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant.
Yeah, we discussed that at length today.
Nice, Girks. I actually didn't know that. If that's true, then I stand corrected. But that's definitely very, very interesting. But that originally did happen, and but I guess that possibly there are elections that have become arranged in a certain sense after he stopped all elections.
As you know, it's in pretty good shape. It can start up immediately, almost immediately. And it's one of the things I discussed with President Putin. And they were talking about the nuclear plant. That's probably the biggest in the world, just about the biggest anywhere in the world. Can you believe that? And President Putin's actually working with Ukraine on getting it open. He's been very good in that sense. He wants to see that open. And he hasn't hit it with missiles, hasn't hit it with anything. It's a big danger to do that for everybody. But they're working together to try and get it. It can open very quickly. It's in pretty good shape. And the people there have been there for years. The people there running it. There are 5,000 people in that plant. Can you believe it? I learned that today. 5,000 people. It's the biggest plant of its kind in the world. and they're working together to get it open. They could maybe get it open quickly.
Yeah, 5,000 is insane for one plant.
That's a big step when he's not bombing that plant. It's a big step.
In the readout from Moscow, they talked about the creation of some working groups.
Yes.
Would be set. Can you tell us about what those working groups would entail? And also, if you wouldn't mind, what is the message that you will give to Putin when you speak to him after your meeting?
So the working group is going to
That's a good question.
be composed of Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, General Raisin Kane, Marco Rubio, and a few other people that we're going to be putting onto it. I think Pete Hegseth should be in that working group. He knows the territory very well. He's been fantastic.
What's up, Joseph, up there in Canada? Our favorite snow Mexican saying, forget the haters. Can't forget the haters. Stop the cap. Yes, sir.
Stop the cap.
Facts. Great to see you, bro.
What he's doing. And they may add one or two people. And likewise, Ukraine's going to have some very good people that were at lunch today that enjoyed the lunch today.
We covered 350 miles. We covered 350 miles going to all of our campaigning locations that we needed to for 2 counties because our district is like 3 major counties, and the 2 other counties, they go all the way to like the Mississippi state line. So we drove all the way out there we stopped at like got to be 100 places.
A lot more than they thought, right? But do you want to say who may be on your working group?
Yeah, we now, as I said, that we work with Steve and Jared. We worked our Rustem Umerov and also Deputy Minister Kislitz and also General Ignatov, and they will continue work in this group. And of course, if we will go further, and I hope that really we will have decisions in January, as I said, about all these documents, 6 documents, and of course, we will continue work on this, so they know what to do. Yes.
And that working group, by the way, importantly, will also then be working with Russia, okay? Because to work with ourselves doesn't really solve much of a problem. So they'll be working with Russia. Yeah, please.
President, you said this morning you weren't a deadline guy. How long do you think it'll take to get this last little bit, as you say, finished? What are we talking about?
So if it went really well, maybe a few weeks. And if it went poorly longer, and if it went really poorly, it's not going to happen. That would be a shame. There's that chance also. It's possible it doesn't happen. But, in a few weeks, we will know one way or the other, I think. But if it went...
What's up, Stacy? Good morning to you, and hopefully you're enjoying your Monday morning so far.
It went really well, but it could also go poorly. We could have something where one item that you're not thinking about is a big item breaks it up. Look, it's been a very difficult negotiation, very detailed. It's funny, I settled 8 wars. Some were going on for 35 years, and we got them settled in a couple of days. Some of them, one was going on for 37 years. I settled it in 1 day. But this is a very complex one.
What the
No, I think we'll get it done. I don't want to say when, but I think we're going to get it done. Yes, ma'am.
President, you in the past have suggested a trilateral meeting between both President Putin and Zelensky.
Right.
Something that is also on the docket.
I see that happening, too, at the right time. I saw a very interesting President Putin today. He wants to see it happen. He wants to see it. He told me very strongly. I believe him. Don't forget, we went through the Russia hoax together. And he'd call me, I'd call him, I'd say, can you believe the stuff that they're making up? And it turned out we were right. They made it all up. And despite that, we didn't get into wars and we didn't get into problems, but we weren't able to trade very much or any of that, which was a shame because, a lot of success could have been had by...
Okay, cool, but fuck all that. I want to know what you're going forward. Fuck that shit.
Trading with Russia. They have great land, great minerals and other things, and we have things that they want very badly. But the Russia hoax, which was a terrible, made-up, fictional thing by Crooked Hillary and by Adam Shifty Schiff and bad people, sick people. They made it up. It was all a made-up hoax. But it kept us really from dealing with Russia, kept Russia dealing, from dealing with us. So, but despite that, we got along. And I don't know, I think we're going to get there. I know him very well. I think we're going to get there.
Discuss any time, location, meeting place?
Yeah, we're discussing a lot of things. Look, I was on the phone with him for almost, I guess, 2.5 hours. They're just telling me now. It's a long time. We discussed a lot of things. We didn't talk about the weather. We weren't talking about what a beautiful day it is in Palm Beach, Florida. Yes.
President Zelensky mentioned maybe a meeting with European leaders back in Washington. Would that be in the next few weeks?
Well, in Washington or someplace, yeah. These leaders that I just read, these are great people. They've spent a lot of money on helping Ukraine. And look, they're doing it for themselves also, meaning their country, because Ukraine's a very important country for them in particular. For us, it's very important. To me, it's their lives. We're thousands and thousands of miles. We're protected by a thing called the Atlantic Ocean.
Right.
And lots of other places.
And then we're protected on the Pacific Ocean on the other side. So
to be honest, and they're not. They're right there. But
geographically, we're like in an ideal situation spot in the world.
Working together with them as we should be. But I'm doing it to save lives. We're not spending any money. Biden gave $350 billion away. And the president was
What's up, Kel? Good morning.
Give us a contract to take out rare earth and things. So we'll see how that all works out. We have a contract, but we appreciated that. He was very good. But we'll see how that works out. But if you think about it, we're going to have.
What's up, Jimmy Mack, as well as Bambi? Good morning, good morning. Hopefully you guys are enjoying your Monday morning so far.
I really believe we're probably, Mr. President, by far closer than ever before with both parties. We had some times when he was close and President Putin wasn't. Then when President Putin was close and he wasn't, you saw that in the White House. But I think they both want to see it happen.
In your conversation with...
Looks like there's only about 2 more questions that there could be in this. 2 or 3 more questions.
That you want to stop the killing. And nearly 100 American citizens died in Ukraine on the battlefield. Yeah. What's your message to their families whose loved ones died fighting for you?
Well, look, I mean, the message is so obvious. It's what a shame. They died in a foreign country. And some are celebrated people. They're very celebrated. But so sad that a thing like that would happen. Yes, ma'am.
Obviously, security is a major issue for the Ukrainians.
Right.
Did you offer any promises, any assurances today?
No, I did. We want to work with Europe, and Europe is going to take over a big part of it, as you can imagine. They're right there. But we're going to help Europe 100%, like they'd help us. Yes, ma'am, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to ask, when your conversation...
Who are you with?
Andrea Shalal with Reuters.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, so in your conversation with President Putin, did you discuss what responsibility Russia will have for any kind of reconstruction of Ukraine post an agreement?
I did. They're going to be helping. Russia's going to be helping. Russia wants to see Ukraine succeed.
He's talking about after the war is ended, now the rebuild. And what Trump is saying is that Putin even will help with the price of help rebuilding because everyone kind of pitches in.
It sounds a little strange, but I was explaining to the president, President Putin was very generous in his feeling toward Ukraine succeeding, including supplying energy, electricity, and other things at very low prices. So a lot of good things came out of that call today. But they were in the works for 2 weeks with Steve and...
What's up, Rebecca, up there in Canada? Good morning.
With Jared and Marco and everybody.
Did Russia agree, or did Putin agree to a ceasefire to allow a referendum to take...
Not a ceasefire, and that's one of the points that we're working on right now. No, not a ceasefire. He feels that, look, they're fighting and to stop, and then if they have to start again, which is a possibility, he doesn't want to be in that position. And I understand that position. The president feels strongly about that or something, but I think we're finding ways that we can get around that. But I understand President Putin from that standpoint. You have to understand the other side. And, I'm on the side of peace. I'm on the side of stopping the war. So, but I think that's a problem that's going to get solved,
Would people who live outside of Ukrainians who fled during the war be allowed to participate in the referendum?
What do you mean, people who are
The people that left.
If we speak about the people who are abroad,
Real quick before he answers this, we've got 315 of you guys in here. Make sure you guys hit that like button as well as double tap that screen on the vertical side. You guys don't have to like all the craziness that's happening around the world, but you guys can like it for me and what we do here. So I very much appreciate that.
Not on the territory of Ukraine. You mean that in Poland, in Germany, we have millions of people. Yeah, they have a referendum in the same of elections, in the same way how people come and vote. They have rights for this, and of course they have to come. That's why if we will come to referendum, yes, if we will come to such decision, people need infrastructure for this, and it's not simple. And that's why we spoke about it. It can't be in one day, very quickly. It's difficult because we need infrastructure. When you have millions of people, you have to build it in Europe, mostly in Europe for today.
President Trump, I know you sound an optimistic note here, but what happens in a few weeks if things sputter? What are you prepared to do?
They keep fighting, and they keep dying. No good. But if things don't happen, they keep fighting, and they keep dying. And we don't want that to happen. He doesn't want it to happen. President Putin doesn't want it to happen either. Okay? Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. Great.
All right. That's it. When he says that, there's not going to be anything more. All right. Let's go ahead and move on. All right. So now we're going to move back into, at the top of the hour, we were talking about the New Jersey helicopter crash that happened where 2 different helicopters crashed into each other. And it was pretty devastating scene. So now we have an update on this. Of course, I'm showing the news here on a chronological scale here. So this happened 16 hours ago. Let's go ahead and bring this up. And a lot of the news that happens over the weekend gets lost because people are not that focused on the news. And so that's why I do this on, especially with Monday.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm Shauna Kalafi. We continue to follow that breaking news from this morning.
Good morning, Aaron, my man. Good morning. Good morning. Great to see you in the chat, bro.
Helicopter crash in New Jersey. This is what we know so far from the Associated Press. One person is dead, another in critical condition after two helicopters crashed midair in southern New Jersey. That's according to officials earlier today. We got some video over the scene of that crash showing those helicopters. Again, officials saying they collided midair this afternoon. One person dead in that crash, another taken to the hospital in critical condition. We want to bring in right now aviation attorney Pablo Rojas. Thank you so much for being here with us.
My pleasure. Good to be with you.
So I know we have limited information so far. This just happened 11:30 local time. What was your initial reaction to this crash and your experience, and what have you heard on your end?
Now, just to let you guys know, this guy who I've never seen before, but apparently he's an aviation attorney.
Well, we don't have very much information right now, Shauna, as you say, but we do know it was a mid-air collision. And anytime that happens, the first thing that you look to is, what kind of communications failures may have caused it. Maybe a lot of your viewers will remember not long ago that crash in Washington, D.C. over the Potomac River involving a civilian aircraft, a military helicopter.
That's the white helicopter, and then there's a red helicopter, a little, they're fairly close to each other, I guess, but they're in the same field.
I think since then, and also in relation to the government shutdown, there's been a lot of discussion about air traffic control, FAA air traffic controllers. So that was kind of the first thing that came to my mind. Now, looking into the details of this crash a little bit better, it looks like it was in the vicinity of Hamilton Municipal Airport there in southern New Jersey. And that's an uncontrolled airport, meaning it doesn't have an air traffic control tower. So whatever communication failure may have led to this crash, and I think it's likely that that was at least one of the factors that contributed to it, it had nothing directly to do with an issue involving an air traffic control tower. When aircraft fly to or around uncontrolled airports, they're responsible for communicating with one another through radios as opposed to communicating with air traffic control. So, it's part of our line of work to represent victims of plane crashes and helicopter crashes. We've worked on a lot of them over the years, and we often say that, when a tragedy like this happens, it's not enough for one thing to go wrong. Multiple things probably went wrong, but certainly one of them was a failure of communications. Maybe the pilots weren't communicating well with each other. Maybe there was an issue with one of the radios, but it's very, very uncommon for a mid-air collision to happen without there being at least some communication.
Yeah, light switches, that makes sense, by the way. It totally makes sense.
Issue contributing to the crash.
And we do know that it was only the pilots who were on board those two helicopters. So we don't have a lot of information right now. We do know that the investigation is going to start. What can we expect from the investigation? When would you think that we're going to get more information? And what kind of things would you be looking for as the investigation starts in these initial stages?
Sure. So in the United States, the initial investigation is basically in the hands of the federal government, the FAA and the NTSB, National Transportation Safety Board. They will have basically exclusive jurisdiction over the crash, over the investigation. They'll look at the wreckage. They'll have exclusive jurisdiction over the maybe documents associated with the aircraft, whether that's maintenance logs and flight logs. And they may work closely with Enstrom, which is the
So this collision did happen on Sunday.
Manufacturer of both of these helicopters as a sort of consultant or collaborator in the investigation. So the government in the first instance will be the investigator, kind of to the exclusion of everybody else. So we would be looking to the federal government to be providing as soon as possible any helpful information that they may have about what led to this crash. We know there's one fatality based on what's been publicly stated and reported. Obviously, we pray for the other pilot who sounds like he or she is in critical condition. But we'll be waiting for the federal government, like I said, to sort of convey to the public what they're looking at and what they've seen. As I mentioned earlier, typically multiple things have to go wrong for a tragedy like this to happen. So we know that there was a mid-air collision. We know there was likely a failure of communications. And then the next question becomes, well, what else might have contributed to the crash? From what I've seen, visibility, weather issues, they don't seem to be a likely contributor here. I mean, the aircraft seem to have collided with one another at low enough altitude, and just based on the images I've seen and some of the weather, information from the National Weather Service, I don't think this is a situation where the helicopter were flying in extremely low visibility. So I think we'd be looking to understand whether there was a mechanical failure, whether one or both of the aircraft had an issue that kept it from flying in a controlled way and led.
I don't know, man. That would both of them having a fucking problem. I highly doubt that shit, man. Most of this shit is just human error and lack of communication, which is human error.
To this collision. I would think that in addition to a communications issue, you would want to be looking at whether there was a mechanical issue too. Those two things together can cause a crash like this. Enstrom helicopters, again, they manufactured both of these aircraft. Over the years, they've had issues involving tail rotor.
What's up, Two Will Jesus? Good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat, man. We got Kellen Canada coming in, dropping it like it's hot with the 10 Canadian, man. I very much appreciate the $10. Let's go. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. That goes a long fucking way, bro.
Which are the rotors on the back of the helicopter, the main rotor, which is the rotor system at the top of the helicopter that's primarily responsible for keeping the helicopter in flight. And it's possible that there was an issue on one or both of these aircraft with the rotor systems, with an engine or something else that led one of the aircraft to fly in an uncontrolled way and collide with the other. So the FAA and the NTSB will be looking at maintenance logs. They'll be looking at whatever information they can have about the flight path and see if maybe one of these helicopters had previously reported some sort of maintenance issue or mishap, whether an engine, again, a rotor system, that might give us a clue about what kind of mechanical failure happened here.
And this is what you just mentioned. The NTSB is investigating. They put this out on X. They say they are investigating this in-flight collision involving those Enstrom helicopters in Hamilton, New Jersey. Now, when it comes to
all right, so now I don't really need to hear the rest of all this. I just wanted to show you guys that was happening because we also have another update from this. So I don't want to focus on it too much, but I wanted to get as much as I possibly could for you guys. All right, so now let's move on a little bit regarding this helicopter crash. Witness describes seeing pilots together moments before deadly New Jersey helicopter crash. Let's bring this up. We will talk about it real quick. Give me a second here. I misclicked. Of course I did. And here we go.
Thanks for watching live now from Fox. I'm Shauna Kalafi. We continue to follow the news of a deadly helicopter crash in New Jersey. This is video from the scene just a few hours ago. We know that one person is dead, another one critically injured after two helicopters collided.
What's up, Agrillipus, my man? Good morning.
Mid-air. This was in Hamilton, New Jersey. Again, two helicopters colliding in the air. We know each of those helicopters only had a pilot on board, so one pilot killed, the other one taken to the hospital with critical injuries tonight. And the police chief says this happened around 11:30 today, local time. They had a video showing the helicopters spinning in the air before falling to the ground. And our partners at Fox 26 in Philadelphia were at the scene following this crash. They spoke to the owner of a cafe near the crash site who said that those two pilots were regular.
So there was like someone over there at the cafe saw it?
At his restaurant. He says they would often have breakfast together before flying out together.
Oh, wow. So they were friends.
He actually says that he and his customers watched the helicopters take off before they began spiraling downward just a few minutes later. Let's listen to him recount that scene from earlier today.
Can you say your name for us?
Sal Silipino. Silipino.
And you own the cafe?
Myself and my wife, yeah.
What's the name of the cafe?
Apron Cafe at the Hamilton Airport.
And are you shocked to kind of hear what happened today?
Brother, so loud from the boondocks in North Carolina. Great to see you, bro. Good morning.
It was shocking. Still shaking a little bit to see that happen.
I actually watched a helicopter spiral out of control and then land in the ocean. I was on the actual dock. I was about to be, going to work. I'm on the dock, and then alongside is my barge, and I was about to go, and we were just about to go off into the barge and work that evening, and then all of a sudden this helicopter that was out there fucking spiraled out of control and then went straight down, and unfortunately they didn't make it either. So it was terrible.
They were just
everybody on board died.
Our cafe having breakfast. They're regulars. They come in every week or every other week. They fly in together. They seem to be very nice people. They're very, very kind to all of the workers, the staff, and all. And like I said, they were just leaving, and we were.
That's right, light switches. Wow.
Some of the customers watching them take off with the little kids that hang out by the windows watching the planes and helicopters take off. So we saw them take off, and then. We watched them for a while, and one was a little bit further than the other guy. But I said they always fly together.
No, I worked on the ocean. I was essentially what the dock workers are ILWU. I was IBU, which is a ILW branch of the union. So I was the water side of a dock worker, quote unquote.
Together, and. We turned around, we were talking, and then we looked up, and I saw the one spiraling down. I didn't see him hit or, hit into or crash into anything. It's just, I saw one go down, and then I saw the other one go down, and it was a little bit of disbelief. It's like, is that really happening? And then I put on my coat and went out there, and I saw the smoke and all, and I said, this really happened.
Did you call 911 or did?
No, we heard the alarms. I guess there was a lot of people already seeing what happened, so there was a lot of people calling in. But I shouted out to my wife, I think those two guys just crashed. And it's a little bit of a disbelief, but it happened.
Can you talk about the two of them as friends, as pilots?
I really don't. I don't know them personally. Just that they seem to come in all the time together. They fly in together, and they seem to be close. You know, they sit together, and they.
That's a bummer.
They seem to be good friends or relatives. I'm not sure.
How fast? I mean, how quickly? You know, that split second when you saw that. Can you just talk about just how quickly that happened?
It happened like they left within a couple minutes. This happened after they left.
So you watched the whole takeoff?
Yeah, well, you know, I was with the kids watching them take off, and because we're pretty close to when they take off, and they, you know, you can see them in there, and they looked fine. They really looked good. So it's
bummer.
It's hard to believe.
Yeah, no, that does suck. All right, we're going to move on. President Trump meets with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu today, as you guys know. Because I don't have the footage of it yet, I don't think it's happened yet. It'll happen later on, probably around 1 o'clock, maybe noon, sometime about that time for me. It's only 10:46 right now. So, but we do have a little bit of something about it. Let's go and bring it up.
Live now from Fox, where we are tracking some of the major stories for this Monday. Taking a look here at a social media post from Bloomberg. It says Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and U.S. President Donald Trump will meet today, so Monday, to discuss the ceasefire in Gaza, whose troubled opening months are stoking concern that regional fighting could resume in the new year. Joining us now with an update all the way from Washington, D.C. is Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera. Madeline, good morning. What can we expect from the talks, later on today?
Muted.
Later on today. So we're in phase one of these peace negotiations, and so far it's been holding. Israel and Hamas have accused each other of violating the ceasefire, but for the most part, it's sticking. And so now the Trump administration is keen on heading to phase two of the peace deal, which was always going to be the harder part because it involves a lot of thorny issues. It includes the creation of an international stabilization force, the creation of a board of peace, which President Trump has said he's been asked to chair. We'll see what countries will be involved. That's something that could come up in today's conversations. But Israel has been very reluctant to move forward. They have said that they want to wait for the remains of the final hostage, believed to be still in Gaza. They're also concerned about...
What, there's one last one? Fuck, man. That's crazy.
The disarmament of Hamas, which it has not committed to do so just yet. And until those issues are resolved, Israel is reluctant about taking the next steps. The Gaza peace deal is not the only thing that could come up today, Corral. Iran is also expected to be a point of conversation because Israel is concerned that Iran could be rebuilding and expanding its ballistic missile program. You may remember that the U.S. struck 3 Iranian facilities back in June. Well, now Israel is concerned that Iran may be ramping up its activity on that front again. And so they're expected to make the case to President Trump today that they need to take swift action on the matter. Corral?
So there's a lot really that we're going to be tracking. That meeting happening at 1 p.m. Eastern time.
1 p.m. Eastern, that's noon my time. I called it. That's how you know you're with it. You're with the shit.
Madeline, before I let you go, you are reporting from Washington, D.C. We are heading into a brand new year, 2026. The president being in Florida throughout this week, but we are following a lot of things coming out of the capital of the U.S. What are some of the major stories that you are following heading into 2026?
Well, it's notable that the president is closing out the year talking about foreign policy. So we expect those conversations to continue into the new year. In fact, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky said in a post on X that U.S. and Ukrainian officials will be meeting again next week to finalize the details of this 20-point peace plan. Domestically, of course, we're heading into a midterm year. Congress is up for grabs in 2026. So the president is expected to be putting a real focus on the economy heading into next year. He already has been making those domestic trips. You saw him in North Carolina earlier this month. He also went to Pennsylvania, both battleground states. The president is making the case that his economic policies are going to be taking effect next year. You may remember that he's been seeing a lot of pessimistic polling on this issue. A Fox News poll shows that more than 70% of voters feel feel negatively about the economy. And a lot of them say that President Trump is responsible for the economy, despite the president's attempts to try to put this on former President Biden. So he's expected to make a real focus on the economy, talking about the affordability issue. So far, the administration has been closing out the year with a bit of a boost. They saw a 2.7% inflation rate.
Yes, do me a favor, guys. Make sure you guys double tap that screen if you're on the vertical side. Hit the like button on the horizontal. I very much appreciate it. You don't have to like all this craziness, but you guys can like it for me and what we do here. So thank you.
In November, and a 4.3% GDP growth in the third quarter of the year. So they're looking at that as positive economic factors. Republicans feel bullish about this, saying that this could give them some win in their sails, that they could regain the narrative on affordability. Of course, Democrats have been taking the offensive on that as well ever since the November elections, in which they rode a wave of victories on the cost of living. So that's something to watch out for heading into next year. Corral?
A lot of things.
All right, so that's enough of that. We're going to move on, though. We have another update regarding the D.C. pipe bomber. If you guys remember January 5th of that whole, because there was January 6th, but the D.C. pipe bomber did this whole thing the day before. I would treat these not like as if they're linked and they keep lumping it into a the January 6th shit, which I don't think it was. I think it was separate to an extent. Anyways, let's go ahead and bring this up, talk about it.
Turning now to some more of the updates that we are following from over the weekend, as we are learning new details on a case involving the alleged January 6th pipe bomber. Taking a look here at a social media post from our team at Fox 5 in D.C. that includes a photo of that suspect. Now, new details show the clearest picture yet behind the DNC-RNC pipe suspect and why he claims to have done what he did. His confession and other new information coming out in a recently filed DOJ memo. Fox 5 D.C. Stephanie Ramirez live outside of...
What's up, brother Chris Lestrange over there in South Africa, man. That's awesome. Always appreciate having you in here.
DC's federal courthouse. She has more on this story. Stephanie.
Good morning, and I hope you don't have any trouble hearing me as an ambulance passes by. Should be clear in just a second. But yes, want to share some of the information coming out in this DOJ memo that includes that the suspect was found to have cleared his phone here. It's a factory reset, or what they call a wipe. Found to have done.
But she actually has the real phone itself?
Done so between December 2020.
No, she was just using her phone as a reference.
And as recently as up to a few hours before his arrest on December 4th, done so 943 times. And there is even more information on this in those court documents, including, as I read some here, that the first factory reset or wipe event took place on December 15, 2020. The next such event did not occur until July 15, 2022. From that date, the factory reset or wipe events occurred at least once a week. On some days, the device appears to have been wiped multiple times
Virgil?
the same day. I was looking it up in July 20.
So they wiped it out 5 different times? What? They re-cleared the phone 5 different times?
2022 was actually around the time the House Select Committee was holding its hearings on January 6th and everything that had happened there. Now, this information, new photos of the devices, even a map showing where the suspect's cell phone had pinged towers around the scene. This is all coming out in a 23-page unsealed memo recently filed by the DOJ ahead of the suspect's detention hearing tomorrow. In these new documents filed, though, investigators say 30-year-old Brian Cole Jr. of Woodbridge, Virginia, admitted to the crime after nearly 2 hours of denying any involvement, and that he did come forth with this after authorities showed him some of the evidence they had collected in this almost 5-year-old case. Now, we know from...
Wow, so they really got this shit. I mean, this is crazy.
Sources, the suspect had expressed doubts of the 2020 presidential election results. In the DOJ filing, Cole allegedly said he wanted to target the country's top political parties because they were, quote...
Hell yeah. My man, Brandon Ray in the building. Shout out to you. Hopefully you're enjoying your Monday morning. I definitely know that we are. Appreciate you, bro.
In charge. He also spoke about not caring for either party and is quoted as saying something just snapped. After confessing, court documents
What's up, Marilyn?
Cole
Good morning.
explained in detail where he purchased the pipe bomb materials, that he had learned to make one ingredient from a video game. He also reportedly told investigators he was pretty relieved.
From a video game? What the fuck?
The devices did not detonate. Prosecutors saying, though, that these devices, they could have not only harmed innocent people or those working at the DNC and RNC offices.
Oh, that fucking sucks, bro. I'm super sorry to hear that. I went through being demonetized for 3 months right when I moved here, actually. So, fuck, that was a year and a half ago, essentially. Yeah, that was fucked for me. 3 months of no monetization was bullshit.
But it could have also really injured any first responders and also really injured any political leaders who were driving by at the time. And the court documents are here. They do specifically explain that the then Vice President-elect and the House Speaker were driving by at the time that these devices were in place. So a lot going on here. The suspect, he is expected in court at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Of course, we'll be following the latest details here on Fox 5 as well. That's the very latest outside of the federal courthouse in D.C. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Stephanie, thank you so much for that update. We'll check in tomorrow for those developments. I want to take us back out to the social media post from Fox 5 in D.C. and read some more of their reporting on this entire case. Here on your screen, you do have the photo of that suspect. Now, Fox 5 goes on to say this, as some more of the backstory here. Cole, the suspect on your screen, was arrested and charged on December 4th with violating 18 U.S.C. 844, which is use of an explosive device following a nearly 5-year investigation, like Stephanie had said. He was specifically charged with planting explosive devices near the Democratic and Republican National Committees in Washington. Now, the government argued in the affidavit that Cole posed a significant risk to the community if he was released, given the premeditated nature of his actions and the potential for future violence. It also highlighted the overwhelming evidence against him. The FBI affidavit says that surveillance video showed that same person there, and we showcased some of that surveillance video, as Stephanie also spoke about it in her report. Now, that license plate reader captured Cole's car less than a mile from where the bomber first appeared on foot, per the affidavit. And again, tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time, we're expecting this suspect to appear in court. Our team in the nation's...
So this is the first time this motherfucker's going to court. Shit. All right, we're moving on into our last story here. This is the last update, okay, from this whole New Jersey helicopter crash. So let's go and bring this up, and we will discuss it here. And I will set up a raid for you guys as well. When we end the show, we'll be able to send you guys off to a friend's channel.
Sure, it's Chief Kevin Friel.
What's up with the audio?
The Hamilton Police Department.
Are you serious, bro? You guys you fucked up this audio this bad?
Sure. This morning at 11:25 a.m., our department received a call of
It's
a
in.
mid-air crash.
It's just in the left ear, bro. Oh my god, I hate these people. DEI fucking audio engineer hires.
Between two helicopters. As the crash ensued, one of the helicopters actually burst into flames. Luckily, there was not any industry or commercial buildings or populated areas it went down in. Unfortunately, the pilots of the planes, we located that the planes took off from the Hamilton Municipal Airport, that's Airport N81, and it was probably just a moment or two after their flight started that they collided. We have one of the pilots that received serious life-threatening injuries. He was transported by helicopter to a trauma center. The other pilot is a fatality. We have not released any of the information on individuals at this point. We have to make notifications to
I'm surprised there wasn't more than that.
Members, and we have the FAA and NTSB are
it looked pretty brutal.
Investigation as it's an airline crash.
Were they flying together? We heard from people who saw they were really close.
Reports were that they were flying in tandem, that they were flying close together, which is probably what caused the collision to occur. Again, I'm not investigating the air collision. That'll be FAA, but it was noted that they were flying in close proximity to each other.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, listen, if I got a helicopter and my buddy's got a helicopter, I mean, shit, we probably got these helicopters around the same time. We fly together. We do our, yeah. It's like riding a motorcycle. When you're riding a motorcycle, usually, you have a couple friends with you, Same thing with flying helicopters. If you got a friend that can afford it, shit.
In my understanding, there's just only one person on each aircraft.
What's up? We got Straight Jacket in the building. Shout out.
The airport from witnesses that observed that there was just one pilot per vehicle and no passengers on either. They were both private helicopters.
So there's two people involved.
I know, Chris. It's brutal.
And is it normal, and you may not be able to answer this, but is it normal for two helicopters, like civilian helicopters, to be flying that closely together?
It's not a very normal thing, although it has been noted that the pilots had done that in the past. They apparently are friends and fly into the airport, have a meal together at the cafe that's there, and we're leaving together.
So I just want to clarify, these are both private helicopters?
That is correct. They are private individual helicopters. There's not any commercial flight or any type of airline type helicopter.
Are they from this area?
I believe they are from the tri-state area. Again, I can't give any further information until we make notification to family members.
I'm surprised that somebody hasn't been like, were they brothers? But it sounds like they were just friends.
How far did they get after they took off from the airport?
The collision is approximately about a mile from where the airport is, so it wasn't that very far into the flight from the airport.
So maybe they were in flight for a minute?
A matter of minutes, I would say.
Wow. That's terrible.
Well, again, like I said, in any time that we have air collisions, we've had a couple crashes in my career here as a law enforcement officer. It could have gone a lot worse, and there could have been a lot more loss of life if, again, in looking around the area of that 1 mile radius, there's a lot of nursing homes, there's commercial buildings, there's a lot of things that could have really made it worse.
What happens throughout the course of the night and into
We have the area secured. It is, again, going to be investigated by the Federal Aviation Administration and the National Traffic Safety Bureau. So NTSB will be out responding as well, too.
Are individuals from those agencies here yet?
Yes, FAA has been on scene for a few hours now, and we're doing all the preliminary investigation. So things are going underway with that. And then, again, it is a follow-up with the Transportation Safety Bureau.
Are they here yet?
All right. So it doesn't sound like we're going to get any other updates here. But I'll hear one more question here.
They are not here yet.
Have you seen video of the crash? I know some people haven't.
I saw one snippet, although there is...
Oh, there's video of it somewhere.
I hate to use the term fake news. There was one that was posted on Facebook that is certainly not the crash. It was a clip.
Ooh, so if you guys see one on Facebook or some shit claiming that's what it is, it probably ain't.
Clear day in that video, and it was a grassy area. This was an empty field and wood line that was several, I would say probably several hundred yards beyond where a residence was. So again, very lucky in the instance of where this unfortunate incident occurred.
So they went down in a field, not like near the trees at all?
Both of them. One went down in the field and one went down right into the tree line.
How far apart are the two crashes?
They're very close together. It's, again, like I said, they were up in the air probably a matter of minutes, and the crash occurred very close proximity.
In terms of it being a rural area, can you talk about the response? Is it difficult? Is terrain difficult to get to? Like, what is that?
No, we had no difficulty.
No, yeah, it's an open field. So, all right, we're going to move on. Well, we're going to end it there is what I'm getting at. All right, guys, we're going to send you guys off to Black Dragon. Make sure you guys go in there and let them know we're coming through with a Mike Ball raid for sure. Anyways, I can't thank each and every single one of you guys enough. Obviously, I can't do this. I know this sounds cliche, but it's true. I can't do this shit without you guys. So I'm very honored to be able to do this. I hope that you guys see that I truly enjoy it. And I can't thank each and every single one of you guys enough for engaging, commenting, hitting the like button, donoing. I appreciate all the donos, man, and your guys' memberships, all of that, man. I'm very honored for that. So anyways, we will be back tomorrow morning for more of the World's Menace. Until then, God bless everyone. We'll see you guys very soon.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning.